Hey, my friends, Bo here. I'm planning on spending more time being intentional in the things that I'm doing in my life and also sharing them out in my socials because I have a strong feeling that I'm here to help more people get unstuck in their lives and do more of the things that they desire. And, last several years I've gone through my own personal struggles and traumas as I've come out of a 18-year marriage and finding myself again and being able to start letting go of different shame and guilt about the decision to make that change, and actually being stuck for a long time before I finally was able to seek out some help and assistance to kind of get me a little more directed in making a decision about what does Bo want and what does Bo need. And there's this saying out there, it's an acronym for the word focus on one, what's the C? It's like, well, anyways, focus on one thing until successful. And I think that there's definite merit in that because you benefit by honing in and becoming an expert at something and really, developing and elevating your muscle memory and your skills. However, in life is convoluted. There's so many things happening all the time. And I referenced the book or the movie that was released recently last year called Everything Everywhere All at Once, because there's so many things happening all the time and sometimes so overwhelming. However, my personal journey and career has been varied from one of entrepreneurship and online affiliate marketing, and even there was a time where I was more of a creator and made costume clothing and sold them at music events and venues across the country. I've traveled all over the world to see some of my favorite bands. A couple of them are the band Fish. Another one is String Cheese Incident. Any rate, I'm going to point a couple questions out with you guys and just let everybody, whatever resonates with whoever is listening or watching and can find benefit in something, because I learned this thing a long time ago from one of my mentors, T. Harv Eker. And he starts off by saying, "Don't believe a word I say." And at the beginning, I didn't fully grasp what the heck he was talking about, because he's going to teach you all this amazing stuff that could change your life financially and give you more direction and then give you the things that you want, because money is just a tool to acquire things and do things that you would desire to do in your life. And I'm like, don't believe a word I say. And he's really just saying, the only person that you can believe is yourself, and you're going to be taught like all these different things throughout your life, but only, take the things that resonate with you, right? And so beyond that, there's another one that was also a big epiphany moment, and it's you don't know what you don't know, which it's a weird thing to say, but it's just spot on. Like, you literally, there's so many people and so many things out there in the world, and you just don't know, like, if you haven't learned them before, been presented, and different ways of thinking or doing things or activities or all sorts of incredible beneficial things in this world. And I'm going to take a side tangent and just say, like, one of the things I think about related to the news media outlets and things of that nature is they're literally just like one little segment of idea that's honed in. They take a story and then they start, using marketing and psychology to push it as the agenda or whatever it is and present it, the information, but it's just one idea. And yet there are over 7 billion people out there that all have opinions and all have feelings and all have different things and paths in their lives, right? So if we all had different channels, it would be a cacophony of things, but maybe there's just more than one idea out there. Maybe there's more than one benefit, one thing that can help you on your journey through this life, because everybody's journey is different. Everybody's path is different, right? Nobody out there is walking in the same shoes, right? And so recently I wrote down a bunch of reflections. It's not even all the reflections that I've had, but it's a start maybe to a possible memoir book that I'll publish someday. And I'll share that with you as well, because I think it's helpful. And I'm also going to share with you things that have helped me like let go of some of the trauma and get over some of the shame and some of the guilt that I had about, deciding not to stay in a marriage anymore, or questioning myself if I was a good father or a good son or a good brother. And what I learned is everything is a process. Everything takes time to work through. And sometimes we live in the what I call like the microwave / lottery ticket mentality society, where we've come to where we can just nuke stuff and it's ready in a few minutes. We don't have the whole prep time and the process to learn how to do it. And that can be great and convenient, but in our own personal journey, and it looks like my battery's getting low, so I'll wrap up this first video, is that sometimes it's like one step forward, two steps back, and you've heard that in what you're doing, and that can be frustrating and make things difficult. However, continuing to focus on things that you desire that might be helpful for you, and this was one that I've learned, is like I wanted to start to feel better. I wanted to start to feel lighter, and like, how do I do that? And I had to start considering, what are things that don't serve me anymore in my life? What are things I'm holding on to that are not helping me? And maybe if I do more of the things that I enjoy that make me feel good, I'll feel better. And if I stop doing some of the things that I know have a tendency to not make me feel good, I'll also feel better. Whether that's eating certain foods as much, or it's doing certain activities that I enjoy. Because we also have guilt and shame around those things sometimes. And we feel like, people are like, you're being selfish. You're just doing that. And the thing is, you can't shine your light more if you're not becoming a better person and you're not able to share because you don't feel good inside. You feel regret or guilt or something. And so, again, I refer to some of the reflections that I've had, and I'll share that. This is a Google document, and you can look at it and read it. But I also want to get into the fact that for me personally, like, I've learned ways to generate income from home using automations and systems in the digital space. And it's interesting because just in the last few years since the pandemic, the e-learning space, which went from $1 billion a year to now over $1 billion a day. It's just like, it's like you get it because there's so many people out there, and people have changed the way they want to do things, and they're starting to search out and seek new information about how to live a more fulfilling life for themselves. And so one of the things that I do is I have a product and service that is part of a community where they teach people how to either enhance what they're already currently doing through brick and mortar businesses, but how to, make better connections through social media and use automations for their benefit, so that they can have more time for themselves and their family and the things that they truly desire to be a part of. Because some people say you work to live or you live to work. And I think most people want to work to live and enjoy. But if you can get fulfillment out of those things too, by giving more benefit and more help, I have one solution that you can utilize. But again, there's so many different paths. And basically, you can visit my website. It's called my100kcoach.info. That's spelled out 100, my100k, like 100,000, K coach, my100kcoach.info. And you'll land on a landing page where you can exchange your email for information and start going through a process. And basically, they're going to teach you about a community that is changing people's lives, literally helping, single mothers and divorced men and people who are parents and families, or, the wives of, someone who's an army, stay-at-home mom. Or you're going to learn about people who are going into retirement, but they don't have retirement, and how they're literally changing their lives because they're part of a community and they're able to share with other people because people get it. They see the value and the benefit. And the beautiful thing, unlike going to a college or a university, where if you shared that, like, hey, I want to go to the University of Washington. If you say, you should go to the University of Washington, it's amazing. Well, guess what? you don't get any sort of reciprocation for making that referral. And guess what? If you pay and go to the University of Washington and you decide you're going to drop out, do they give you a refund? No, they don't give you a refund. They don't give you anything back. They just say, you have these credits, or maybe you didn't get credits. And that's just how the system works. And it's actually one of the largest bubbles of loans in the world is the education space, which is a whole nother tangent we can go into compared to credit and loans and the housing markets and things like that, which is all very interesting financial information. However, in this case, we have a one-time, we call it a tuition fee, but it basically also gives you the rights to resell access. And when you resell access, you get 100% of the purchase, because you're going to pay a one-time $29 website fee to have access to the automated systems and the library of information. And then what's beautiful about this and so different is that it has weekly live mentorship, like through Zoom meetings. So it can be done anywhere you want in the world. You can start traveling and making money and living the life that you choose to, or plan more vacations with your family, get out of debt. All the things have those potentials with this process and system in place. And I think it's incredible. And they've really made the efforts to take away where the pitfalls are for people and related to tech, or just, not getting enough consistent information. Because if you go from a digital library solely, then you're just kind of on your own. But if you take it to the next level and you have weekly mentorship, and I want to convey something, the cost of this is so low compared to how much it costs to go to college or to pay for a trade school or anything. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things, right? Absolutely not. However, those things still require you to go out into the workplace, find a job. And we know that a super high percentage of people who do any kind of scholastics never actually enter into the workspace that they were planning on doing. It's like, they're getting a life education, they're getting experience, but then they end up not getting a job in that space, and they end up going a different path. So that's something to consider as well. So at the end of the day, I'll leave you with this. I also going to transfer at some point into more health and wellness, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything, right? It's the most important thing. Our bodies is the one machine that we have for our entirety of our lives. And so part of feeling better is, finding out what things are serving your body. And there's new testing with technology that can actually tell you which foods are superfoods for you, which foods you should enjoy, which foods you should minimize because they have a little more, tension adding to your body, and which foods you should ignore. And if you test that and try it out, you might see that you feel better. And then if you add movement and breathing and other strategies like that, you can start to feel really good and change the way that you get to experience life. So I hope that this is resonating with at least one person out there watching this. I have a lot more to share as we go forward, but again, I'll put the document along with this video as a starting place. I need to add a bunch of resources to that document, so check back on that. I haven't done that yet, but I just want to let you know that my goal in life is to help more people indirectly, because there's a saying, you might be able to help 1,000 people, but you can't carry 3 on your back, because it's not your responsibility to actually do everything for other people. And that is a difficult thing sometimes, because people, again, go back to that, oh, you're being selfish, you're not this, that, or the other. And the reality is that's projection from somebody else, right? And their frustration and their own guilt or whatever. And we'll talk about that more later. But at the end of the day, I just want you to know that there's an abundant world out there of opportunity. And if you've been looking for another way, a better way to be able to do more of the things in life that you want to do, whether it's you want to have a side hustle where you can make money from home in 0 minutes, or you want to create a full-time gig where you can be a 6-figure or even a 7-figure earner, I have a solution for you that can help you, and I encourage you to take a few minutes to check it out. All right, so thanks so much for listening. Maybe check in the first comment. I'll put a link to the website where you can go, my100kcoach.info, and in the description of this, I'll put the link for the document on reflections that you might find helpful, as well as an entire playlist of things that I felt helpful for my daily gratitude and personal journey and releasing anxiety and trauma and pain and things like that to become a more lighter, healthier, happy human so that I can share with you. You know, a lot of this stuff is absolutely free if it's something that resonates with you. So thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. Take care. Much love and light. Make it a great and prosperous day.